In pure anticipation for the manliness that is this film, I grew a beard.
If you look close, like right here, you can see it, the stubble, I promise.
Maybe by Expendables 3. Hello and welcome to my review of the blood, sweat, and bullets opera, The Expendables 2, starring Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, Jason Statham, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, among everybody else who's been in an action movie from the 1980s. Alright, so the plot of Expendables... I'm sorry. Yeah, there's very little plot to be found in here. It's pretty much just an excuse to blow people up. But what we do have centers on the return of Barney Ross, played by Sylvester Stallone, and his team, who have to avenge the death of one of their comrades, who I won't spoil who, brought upon by the hands of Jean-Villain, yeah, real subtle name there, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's digging for plutonium in order to sell it off to make nuclear weapons, I'm sure, to destroy America. And then people die. A lot. So I enjoyed the first Expendables. I thought it was a really fun throwback to old 80s action films. Sure, they didn't use their stars in the best way, and it's not the greatest movie ever made, but it's a lot of fun and one of the more badass action movies in recent years. Even though, if you go back and watch my review of the original Expendables, it's really apparent that I'm a kid who's just seeing one of his first R-rated movies, because I'm just like, yeah, stuff blows up and people get killed, balls to the wall R-ratedness, yeah! I was a weird freshman. And as to not keep you in suspense any longer, I thought that this movie really carried on the tradition. I thought this was yet another really solid action film. What this movie gets right that the first movie didn't is that these characters really are a team, and it's great to watch these guys and their camaraderie. In the first film, for a big majority of it, it was just Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham. And I love those guys. Their chemistry in these movies are great, because they bicker back and forth like an old married couple, and it's kind of funny. But I really like how in this movie it was a team mission throughout most of it, and you really got a sense for how these guys interact with one another. And I really liked all the performances here, from Sylvester Stallone to Jason Statham, but even the supporting guys like Terry Crews and Randy Couture and Dolph Lundgren all get some decent time to banter back and forth, and they all get their fair share of badass moments. All the new additions to the cast are great. Bruce Willis and Arnold Schwarzenegger are a lot of fun to watch here. They were in the last one, but only briefly, and here they get a chance to actually participate in an action scene, and it's really great to watch, especially Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's still got that classic charisma intact. Also, I thought the additions of Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Liam Hemsworth to the cast were really great. Chuck Norris is really a terrible actor with his douchey smile and weird line deliveries, but he's a badass, and there's a moment with him and an X-ray machine that quite possibly made the movie for me. Van Damme is quite menacing as the villain, actually, and he has very little screen time, but he makes a good impact on you as the villain, a lot more so than Eric Roberts did in the original. And Liam Hemsworth is just kind of there, but he does a decent job with what he's given, and he actually shows the most emotional range out of the group, and it makes me think that he might not be the big stump of wood he came off as in the Hunger Games. But odds are, if I had to guess, you're not really here for the dialogue or the actors, are you? You're here for the action, and on that front, The Expendables 2 delivers in spades. This movie was directed by Simon West, who's previously done Con Air and The Mechanic, and he really is a great choice for this film. Sylvester Stallone directed the previous one, and he incorporated a lot of handheld, let's get up close to the action's face so you can't see what's going on, but it's intense type of deal. And Simon West likes to just pull back and let you see what's going on in these action scenes, which is a lot better. He has a lot better sense of how to handle gore, there's a lot less CGI blood, and the action scenes are just seem really creative and huge in scale, especially an opening sequence that will just blow you away with how massive it is and with how many different fighting styles that go on within 15 minutes. It really is an amazing way to open the film, and it gets things started off with a bang. If I had any complaints about this film, it would mainly be that the movie, like with that opening sequence, gets started with a ton of momentum, and then in the middle it kind of loses that pace a little bit. There's a lot of kvetching and slow kind of setup to the big action scenes in this film, and that's okay, because you get to spend some time with the characters and watch them have their camaraderie. But at the same time, it does kind of take you out of the momentum it builds up at the beginning. And while it's not game-changing or film-killing, it's a little bit strange. Also, I felt like they didn't do right by just a couple of the characters in here. Jet Li leaves the film after 10 minutes in, and is replaced with this girl who's so incredibly bland and just ridiculously uninteresting that it's almost like, I hate to say it, but the filmmakers needed to fill an Asian quota, and she was just there on set that day. I really wish that they had just kept Jet Li around, or at least gotten a girl who had a lot more charisma than this chick, because it just felt like she was an unnecessary addition to the group. But overall, if you're going to complain about the plot or the acting in this film, you just don't know what you're talking about. This is a silly, fun, self-aware action film that knows what it is and doesn't try to do anything but deliver that in spades. And I gotta say, I enjoyed this film at least as much as the first one, if not a little more. It's a solid and fun action film that's well directed, and if you're into that type of thing, you're gonna enjoy yourself. So I'm gonna give this movie 3 stars out of 4. And that was my review of Expendables 2. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, what is that? Oh, great.
You don't call Chuck Norris a bad actor.